Good morning, everyone. Welcome to class. It's a strange day after all of the happenings in the States. So I'm sure we all stayed up later than we might have wanted just watching the news and seeing how things would proceed. But hopefully we're back on track. So we're just remembering as yogis our flexibility and our trying to get back on track every time that we may fall off. Okay. So, with that in mind, just finding a comfortable seat for a moment just to center in. And if your legs are not on the floor, put a block or a book or something underneath them. Today, I have a strap. You might want to grab a strap or a tie or a belt or something that you can use. I'm sitting on a little cushion to lift my sit bones up, pour my legs out in the front. Just a little pelvic tilt that helps me stay stable, my spine erect. Good. And then bringing the hands into the heart, Anjali Mudra. Taking a soft gaze to the floor or letting your eyes close completely. With gratitude, we salute all the great yoga masters, past and present. A special prayer of thanksgiving for Baba Hari Das. With joy, we recognize the excellent wisdom teachings of yoga, Ayurveda, and with vigor, we dedicate ourselves to self-transforming practice. Just remembering that the only place transformation can start in our whole circumference around us is within us. So just bringing your mind into an intention for the day. What do you need for self transformation? And state it to yourself in a positive statement, repeating it 3 times, a sankalpa, a sacred vow. And then letting that thought intentionally just rest down in your heart space throughout the practice. And then, if you can, if you're where you can, join me with one resounding Om. Exhaling the breath out and a nice inhale to chant. Om. And then gently on your next inhale, letting your eyes flutter open and bringing your hands down to your legs for just a moment. And these circles, just opening up our hip joint, just rolling sit bone, pubic bone, sit bone, tailbone, just sort of feeling that diamond below you and just rotating around it. Your knees can come off a little when you go back. And then let's go to the other direction. I woke up with a thought of reversed triangle, and that's where we're going to go today. So that means we need a lot of nice, lovely hamstring wakening up, and we need twisting. So just now bringing yourself up into neutral, just a little rock back and forth to sit bone to sit bone. Good. And then bring the arms up overhead, just a nice big stretch. Go ahead and hold on to your right wrist. Just draw yourself over to the left side and come back up to neutral. Reach up first and then hold on to your left wrist and reach over to the right side. Keep your sit bones firmly on the floor. And then come up, and then both hands back behind you. Interlace the fingers there. Squeeze the knuckles down to the floor. Good. Just opening. And then taking the hands all the way up overhead. We're going to take the palms to the ceiling, interlace the fingers, reaching up out of the side body for a moment. As you exhale, ground down through your sit bones. And as you inhale, turn your sternum out to the left side. Exhale back to center. Inhale, turn your sternum, keep your belly button and your hips headed to the front. And exhale, center. Inhale to the left. And exhale, center. We're going to go to the right. Inhale. Exhale, center. Yes, on purpose. You're twisting on an inhale, resisting the breath. Babaji said it increases the prawn. And return. Good. And then just reach your arms down to the floor, press into the floor for a moment, get tall in the spine. Shoulders are down, arms are down. And then walk yourself again over to the left side, taking your sternum over. Look back over your right shoulder. And then take your gaze to your left shoulder. And back to your right shoulder. Arch it up a little, arc it up a little. Good. And then release. And then walk your hands over and behind you. And looking out over your left shoulder, but your sternum is headed to the right side. And then arc your chin up a little. Take the chin over the right shoulder. And then arc it again and take it back over the left. Good. And then release. Excellent. And then let's come up into all fours. Do a little bit of cat, just enough to wake up the spine a little bit more. Remembering hands in front of the shoulders and knees falling right out of the hip sockets. Good. So just inhaling and exhaling. Let's move on our exhale and return to neutral on our inhale. So exhale anytime you arch in either direction and inhale to neutral. We have a little more power on the exhale as we engage the belly. And then when we are breathing here, we're breathing into our chest, our low ribs, not into our high ribs, and not into our belly. One more. Good. And then come back with your hips a little. Take your hips back towards your heels. If you have blocks, go ahead and grab them. They might come in really handy here. So if you've got blocks, just put them on either side. If not, you'll be fine. You can tense your fingers, okay? So hips are back a little bit. And then put the weight into your hands or the blocks as you bring your left leg forward, okay? So if you have a block, it's going to be right beside your foot. Great. And then press into the blocks with both hands, or if you're on the floor, press into the tented fingers with both hands. Your hips are squared to the short end of the mat. And then gently, you're going to let your knee come out a little bit. The only way the knee can come out safely is if the weight is in your shoulders and hands, arms. And then come back, and then head back a little bit, straighten the leg. Keep the foot on the floor for a moment, and come back. And again, if you have blocks, you can press into the blocks, makes it a little easier. Knee goes out, but the weight is in the shoulder. The knee has no weight in it. It's just taking it out and then back to neutral, stack it over the ankle, and then head back. You can always take your blocks back, straighten the leg as much as you can, keep the foot on the floor initially, and then walk it back one more time, forward. But the weight is in your horseshoe that you've created from your hands across your shoulder girdle and down back to the other hand. And then stack it again. And this time we're going to go back and the heel can come up and stretch through the heel, like really press through the heel. Feel the whole of the calf and the hamstrings engage. Really press through. You can come up onto the high side of your block if you'd like. Good. And then walk back, restack. So completely stacked, and then return. Good. And then let's just go ahead and do the right side. So just stepping the right foot forward. Knee is stacked. Just going to move this out of the way so that we can see how much I'm going to go. But my pressure is in my hands. So I'm getting a little bit of engagement in the back groin as the knee goes forward. And then stack, and then headed back. Trying to straighten the leg as much as I can with the foot on the floor. and come back. Good. Stack and then head back. One leg may be a lot easier than the other to keep that foot on the floor. And then go forward. Good. And this time we're going to go back and straighten the leg. Toes come off and press through the heel a lot. Press. Good. And then walk yourself back up. Just now. Good. And then come back all the way to neutral. Good. Take your hips to your heels. And you can just reach forward into child's pose for a moment, just resting. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders. So you're not using your low back. Hands underneath your shoulders, elbows close in, tight to the ribs. And then press into the floor and push up. Good. And then come all the way up for just a moment. Excellent. Nice and tall. Good. And for just a little bit, just a few cat poses right here from where we are. So reach back, hold on, and squeeze. And then come forward and hug. Reach back, squeeze. And come forward and hug. One more. Good. And then into neutral. Great. So we're going to do a series of leg exercises down on the floor. And there's some that we usually do at the end of class, but today I want to do them before. I've already done them once this morning, so I know how helpful they are. So this is where I have my strap. So lying down. And you can have a block handy if you'd like to use it, but you decide. Good. So lying down. And both knees are bent and feet are firm on the floor. So maybe get to a place where you can see me, but you also are mostly looking at the ceiling so you don't get a crick in your neck. And you can also just listen to my voice. I think hopefully I'll give you enough cues. So get your strap if you have it. If not, you can just hold on to the pants leg, whatever you've got there, okay? So for a moment, just press into your right foot as you bend your left knee in to the chest. Just bend the left knee into the chest, not touching it. Just bend it in. Just see how much power it has on its own. And then, if you will, take your strap and put it around your left foot. Good. And then flex the foot and take the foot toward the ceiling. No further than that right now. Just be there for a moment. Just take the foot toward the ceiling. And then gently see if you can draw the left leg in a little closer without moving the right leg or hip. Just a tiny bit, maybe even a centimeter. And now as you extend the right leg along the floor, all the way along the floor, it'll bring your left leg out of that a little bit. Make a right angle with both legs as much as you can. Just pressing both feet very flexed, pressing toward the ceiling and toward the wall in front. Holding on with only your left hand right now, just left hand holding. Your shoulders are soft and on the ground, and you can just go ahead and drop your left elbow down to the floor so that it's really supported and your shoulders not tense. Go ahead and put your right hand on your right as is bone, your pelvic basket bone, just holding on to that pelvic basket, mostly to see that it doesn't come up as you slowly open up your left leg to the left side. And then keeping that left elbow on the floor, just hold on to the leg. Don't tilt, just staying up as much as you can. Press through the foot. And then on your next inhale, coming up, pressing again into that right angle. Now let's bend our right knee, put the right foot on the floor, shift your hips up toward the ceiling and over to the left side, 2 or 3, 4 inches, set them down. Extend the right leg all the way back out and take the left foot over to the right. It can go as far as you want. I have a microphone that's stopping me, so whatever that thing is that you have on your back, so I can't go any further, but you can go all the way over. You can roll as much as is comfortable. And now you're holding the strap only in your right hand. Otherwise, your shoulders are going to be tight after this. And then reach over with your left hand, grab the strap and bring it back up front and center. Stretch. Go ahead and bend your left knee, right knee again, and lift your hips and straighten them out. Good. And with the right knee still bent and the foot on the floor, bring your left knee in toward your armpit. Just bring it in, foot toward the ceiling. And then from right there, go ahead and take the strap off. Take the foot up toward the ceiling, and then very slowly, with the foot very flexed, lower it to the floor. Slowly. And then bend the knee, and both knees are bent up toward the ceiling. Good. We're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. So let's first just bring in the leg and not touch. Okay, so just bringing in the right leg. Left foot is on the floor, left knee is bent. And then putting the strap around the right foot, taking it up toward the ceiling. Hold it there for a moment. Holding the strap now only in the right hand. Left arm is relaxed. Press up through the heel. We have to wait for it, so just hold on a moment. And then slowly, maybe only a micro movement, draw your right. And then as you extend out the left foot, the left leg, flex the foot and it'll bring your right leg out of it a little bit, but making as much of a right angle as possible with both feet flexed. Press through the heels, send energy out the heels. And then letting your left hand rest on your as-is bone, your anterior superior iliac spine, that pelvic basket, so that it doesn't tilt or move. Slowly drop your right leg out to the right. Be sure your right elbow is on the floor and it is supporting you in the strap or holding onto your pants leg or whatever you've got. Both feet are flexed and active. Both legs are very active. Upper body is trying as much as it can to not use what's not needed. Good, and then reach over with your left hand and draw that leg back up. Bend your left knee, put your foot on the floor, shift your hips up and then over to the right side a little. Extend your left leg out along the floor. Now transfer the strap over to the left arm only, and then drop the leg over to the left side. So this will resemble a twist in the upper thoracic spine. Your spine should still have its lumbar curve. And then reach over with the right arm and bring the leg back up to neutral. Bend the left knee, put the left foot on the floor, straighten yourself out. And then draw the right knee down toward the right armpit. Foot is flexed and toward the ceiling. Sole of the foot's toward the ceiling. And then from right here, let's take the strap off. Take the foot up toward the ceiling, flex it. Good. And then slowly release it to the floor. Nice and slow. And then extend both legs out. Press through the heels. Press the heels firmly into the floor. Don't take the heels off. That'll just be hyperextension in your knees. Make sure the heels are touching the floor. Reach your arms up overhead. Get as long and tall as you possibly can on the floor. Make sure your shoulders are touching, and your bottom is touching, and your heels are touching, and the head, of course. But you have your lumbar curve, you have curve in your cervical spine, your neck, and you have space behind your knees. Good. And then bend the knees and either rock up or go to the side and come up. Good. And now you have new legs. So just check on your legs, how they feel now compared to how they started. I had the pillow up under earlier, and now I don't need the pillow so much. So let's do some circles one more time before we go to our standing. Come on, one more time. Your knees can rock up when you rock back, and then the other direction. Just rotating over that diamond that keeps us stable. Good. And then into neutral. Let's come through a squat. So just into a nice little toe balance for a moment. And I have my legs out to the side. My toes and my knees are in the same direction. If you have your knees in front, then you need your toes facing in that direction. So decide where your squat is, often called a toe balance. It's really a ball of the foot balance. And then as we stand up, we're going to try to stay on the ball of the foot. So our goal is to just stay on the ball of the foot. Just come up onto the ball of the foot, still on the ball of the foot. Just walk around for a moment, just balancing, ball of the foot. Good. And then lower into the heels. Great. So I have this little bit of external rotation. I'm going to move it. Okay. So now I'm standing in my Tadasana. So find your Tadasana, wherever it may be. Good. And be nice and stable. Feel yourself reaching down. Let's grab our blocks if we want them and need them. In a moment, I'm going to stand to the side. I'm going to go to the side so that you could see me a little bit better, because if I go there, you'll lose my leg and everything. But I want us to know that we're on train tracks for what we're about to do. Okay? So hopefully from the side is fine, right? Good. So find your Tadasana, root down through your feet, lift the pelvic floor, draw in your belly, and take a few breaths low in the chest, right into this area, not high. Good. Take a nice inhale, and on your next exhale, go ahead and step your left leg forward. Good. So into a nice lunge for a moment. Great. Just be there and divide the weight front, back, side, side. Good. And then straighten the front leg for a moment and then bend it. Back heel is up. Straighten the front leg and bend it. One more time. Straighten the front leg and bend it. And all you do is go back. Good. Okay. Take a nice inhale and exhale, right leg forward. Left heel is up. You're on train tracks. Okay. Bend the leg. Divide the weight front, back, side, side. So be sure you're evenly balanced. And then straighten the leg and bend the leg. And straighten and bend and straighten and bend. Excellent. Okay. And on your next exhale, step back. Good. So now we're going to step forward again with the left leg. And from there, we're going to play with our pyramid pose and then turn that into our reverse triangle. Okay. So if you have blocks, perfect. Keep them at the front part of the mat. You really need just one. Okay. Take a nice inhale. Exhale, left leg forward. Good. So you're on train tracks and your back heel is up. Great. And now I want you to straighten the leg a little bit and I want you to plant your back heel down. But listen, don't just do it immediately. Take a little hop and put your heel where the ball of the foot is with a little bit of an angle out to the side so that you can keep your pelvic basket headed in the same direction. Good. So hopefully you found that. If not, just experiment and go out further, come in further, find where you can move. Just find where your belly button stays to the short end of your mat. Good. We're all ready. And here we're going to flex at the hip and come forward. Now, if we were to keep going and release, we'd go down to pyramid pose, but we're going to stay right here with the spine long. I'm going to take my block and I'm going to put it right under my right shoulder and make sure my hips stay squared to the short end of the mat. Good. Initially, I'm just going to take my left arm and put it along my back so that you can see. Then as I inhale and begin to twist, opening up into this twist to the left side, I can decide, do I like my block here? Do I want my block here? Do I want it closer to my foot? Do I want it on the other side of my foot? Where is my spine most comfortable? And then you can raise the arm. Keep the hips headed back. Don't tilt the hip. Good. And then cartwheel the arm all the way over. Get really long on the left side. Exhale, push up. Good. And then let's just step forward. That's the easiest way out. Good. And let's go to the back of the mat again. Same thing on the right side. Ready? Find your Tadasana. Look out in front. Lift the pelvic floor. Pull in the belly. Bring the breath into the chest. Think about a barrel. You can breathe in the whole circumference of your chest, not just in the front. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, take your right leg forward. Find your lunge. Good. Bend your knee. Initially, the back heel is up. Good. And then straighten the front leg. Lift your spine toward the ceiling. And then that back heel, you want it to go where the ball of the foot was. So however you can plant it, keeping your hips, feel free to move your heel, move your leg, move your foot, go out, come in, find the space where you can keep your hips squared to the short end of the mat. And then head it over. So we're not releasing all the way into pyramid. We're almost there, but we have our block and it can be under our left shoulder. It can be right beside our right foot. It can be on the other side of our right foot. But taking your right arm and just rest it for a moment on your sacrum. And then we'll begin our twist. So press into both feet, spine is long, and begin to open the right shoulder to the right side. Keep the hips squared. And then if you'd like to add the arm, breathe. And you might find you like your block elsewhere. Take time to adjust, readjust. And then slowly untwist. Come back out. Get long in the spine. And then as you exhale, come up. Good. And then let's just step forward. Great. And come to the back of the mat. Excellent. Excellent. So I just want you to step forward one more time without any other to do, to step your left leg forward. Good. Back heel is up and then plant it. I just want you for a moment to get comfortable with where that position is for your hips and your legs. Just plant it. Good. Bend the knee and step back. Notice how your right foot is in rotation and your left foot is not. Bring your right foot back. Both legs are front and center. Good. And now with your right leg, step forward. Just plant that back foot just to see where it has to be planted. Good. So keep it planted so you could really see the difference between the two legs to be able to keep the hips toward the short end. And come back. Just go, oh, wow, look, my left foot is externally rotated, my right one's not. And then even them out. Good. And we're going to head back down to that squat, right into that toe balance. Good. Just being on the ball of the foot for a moment. Good. And then lower yourself all the way to the floor. Extend your legs out. Flex your feet. Draw in your left leg. Just draw it in. Foot's off the floor, just holding it in for a minute. Shoulders are back and down. Spine is erect. Flex your right foot toward the ceiling. Good. We're going to go into a twist here, Ardha Matsyendrasana, and you can decide to keep your right foot on the floor right there. You can cross it over as long as the full foot is on the floor. Really flex and extend through your left leg, and you can bend that in if you'd like, but only if both sit bones stay firm on the floor. Mine does not. So finding that space, you your sit bones. So sitting up tall, just hold on to your leg for a moment, nice and tall. And then without twisting, release your right arm behind you. Just no twist yet, right toward me. Press down into your sit bones, lift up through the pelvic basket, and then inhale, twist to the right. Exhale, come back. Inhale to the right. Exhale, return. This time we'll stay. Inhale to the right, hold it, and then continue to hold onto your leg. You can bring the elbow outside of the knee. You decide. You can always wrap if you like, bind, you decide, but really flex the foot on the floor. And if it's beside you, keep it strong and make sure both sit bones are firmly on the floor. On your next exhale, release the twist. Good. Extend out the leg. Draw in the left leg. Sitting up tall on your sit bones. Take the foot off the floor and just draw it in. Working on that colon. This is a seated Pavanmuktasana, seated wind release pose. Good. And then place the foot on the floor there or cross it over. You decide. Great. And then putting your left hand back behind you. No twist yet. I'm a little close to the wall. Good. Tall. Just holding on to your knee. Up on top of the sit bones. Push into the back hand and get up on top of the sit bones. Really flex the right foot. And then inhale over to the left. Exhale, return. Inhale, left. Exhale, return. This time we'll stay. Inhale, left. Go ahead and draw your elbow over if you'd like, or just wrap the arm around the leg, or you're welcome to bind in any way you might like. Keep flexing the right foot along the floor. Take a nice inhale. And as you exhale, come back to neutral. Extend both legs firmly through. Good. And then our last seated poses is just going to be boat. Okay, so sitting up on top of your sit bones. So don't lean back into your sacrum. Hold on behind your knees. You can just lift and get your hands firmly in there, and then pull your chest and spine forward. Good. You can lift and just put your feet and legs, your shins parallel to the floor, or you can raise the legs up. You decide where you want to go. Belly is completely hollowed out and the breath is in the chest. You're welcome to release the hands in any direction you might like. And then slowly, just by releasing this bridge pose, we're going to make our way to the floor. So releasing it as slowly and gently as you might like. Just letting it go and just be still for a moment. Good. And we're going to move into our inversion if you're inverting. So you're not inverting if you're on your menstrual cycle or if you have glaucoma or any eye pressure problems, uncontrolled blood pressure, high, low. Inversion is not for you. You can just lay on the floor, take an extra long shavasana. If you are inverting, you're welcome to hold on to your carney stand, handstand, any of those that are part of your practice, feel free to take that now. Okay. If you're doing Viparit, bend your knees as if you were going to go into bridge pose. Put the block underneath you. You're welcome to do it without a block, of course. And then lift the legs up toward the ceiling. And then relax the legs. Don't keep them so active. Just let them balance in the sockets of the hips. Gaze toward the ceiling, not toward me. Breathe. And then slowly and gently beginning to release your inversion. Take your time. Coming out of it slowly. But if you're in Viparit, just bending your knees for a moment. Be there. And then draw one knee a little as the other knee escapes to the floor. And then release the other leg. Lift off the block. And then bring your hips to the floor. Good. So notice that you have a little low back curve. Keep it. Appreciate it. So before we do Shavasana, let's all find a little bit of our low back curve. So take your hips off the floor, just wiggle them for a minute, just wiggle your hips, and then dive your pubic bone down a little until you get low back curve. Probably more than you would want to keep, but just a little. Good. And then walk your shoulders up and back away from that low back curve, and then extend out your legs. Press through each heel. Extend one leg, press through the heel. Extend the other leg, press through the heel, And then relax the legs completely. Arms are relaxed beside the body. Soft everything. Babaji says this is the hardest pose. Just relaxing. Soften. What can you release? And without moving for a moment, just think about leaving behind anything that no longer serves you in corpse pose. Just let it come into your mind. What could you just do without? What habit, what thought, what pattern? And just let it drop off. Feel the weight off of your body. And then looking for our embryo pose as we begin to curl, feet on the floor, roll over to one side, curl in the body. And while you're there, slowly waking up the senses, rolling your eyes in the sockets, your tongue, moving it in the mouth, wriggling your ears, your nose, maybe just touching your legs or your feet or something with your hands, your feet touch the floor, bringing all of our five senses back online. And then using the hand of the upper arm right close to your face, begin to spiral toward it and then push the floor away. Keep the chin tucked into the chest. Let that be the very last thing that just comes up and stacks on top of your spine. Good. So we're going to move into our pranayama and then our meditation. So get whatever you might want for your meditation. If you want an extra cushion, if you want an extra blanket, if you want something to throw over your feet or your legs. Just whatever you might need or want. It's good for us to have as little movement, physical movement. Where the mind goes, the body goes. Where the body goes, the mind goes. So if we can keep our body still, it's easier to keep our mind still. So just thinking about that for a moment when we transition to make as little movement as possible. Good. So today for our pranayama, our controlling of the breath, we're going to just count for a moment. And the breath can be in the chest. It can be a yogic breath. It can be any breath that you want to just bring in for a moment. We're going to inhale 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4. Exhale 2, 3, 4, hold 2, 3, 4. But let me talk to you about the hold. There are no locks. If you practice locks, there are no locks here. It's Raj. It's a very high level with nothing. If the locks happen to you naturally, great. If not, nobody cares. Okay. So I want you to think about the breath as a baby. So you would hold that baby gently yet firmly. You would never squeeze it and force it. You would just gently hold the baby close, firm. So I want you to hold the breath like that. So I don't want you to, no gripping of anything. We're just relaxing. Our focus is that space between the inhale and the exhale. Okay? Beginning with an exhale, exhaling the breath all the way out. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Fall into your natural breath pattern. Just letting the natural breath come in. We're going to pause for 1 full minute, just noticing body, breath, mind. We're going to repeat those 5 rounds one more time. If you're feeling nervous or if you felt any kind of discombobulation, then maybe don't do it this time. Maybe just sit it out and breathe gently and tranquilly. But as long as you feel fine, let's do it one more time and remember gentle like a baby. Exhale the breath all the way out. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Release. Fall back into your natural breathing pattern. noticing the state of your mind, the body, the breath. And just noticing how you're feeling. We're going to do one more round and then go right into a meditation. If you're feeling anxious or nervous, because it can bring that on if you're not doing it properly, just wait it out, breathe tranquilly, making your exhale maybe a little smidgen longer than your inhale. Otherwise, we're going to go for one more round. Exhaling the breath all the way out. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Breath is normal, shallow, just enough to sustain you as we slide right into meditation. The mantra for the morning, Aham Prema, I am love. I am love. Aham Prema. Aham Prema. Letting your body mind complex relax into it. Decide if you're doing it in English or Sanskrit and stay with that one the whole time. I am love or Aham Prema. As thoughts come, bring in the mantra. Focus on the mantra. The mantra. Return to the mantra. Releasing the mantra slowly. Just slowly letting it dissolve. Letting your eyes flutter open on an inhale. And just taking a few deep breaths. On your next inhale, bringing your hands into your heart, Anjali Mudra. Remembering your sankalpa, remembering your intention, remembering that sacred vow. Any merit we may have earned this morning in our very diligent practice of yoga, we lift it up to the welfare of all sentient beings. So letting that thought, letting your sankalpa come out of your mind and down into your heart space. And then symbolically from your heart space out into the palms of your hands, and then lift it up and just let it go off into the universe, bringing the hands gently back into the heart. Hari Om Sat. Namaste. I'm coming to you for our talk. I'll be right there. Okay, let me fix the screen so I can see you better so that you can talk. Let's do that first. You can talk. Remove the spotlight. Good. And close that. Hi, Stephen. I saw you last night at the open house. Welcome. Welcome to class. All right, let me get my gallery view. And now I've got you all. Good. Hey, Jose, welcome home.
Thank
Yoga
you.
is always like a homecoming, right? Like you just get to come home to yoga. Welcome. I'm
Yeah,
glad you're back.
thank you, Ginger.
You're so welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Me too.
Yeah. Hi, Cam. How's it going? Hi, Wendy. Anita, I was so happy to see your name there. No, it's so nice to see you. I saw you at the retreat.
Need this today.
I'm so glad. Hi, Nance. Nice to see you. And Tina, I love your passion flower. That's a beautiful passion flower, which I have a big tree of those here in Guatemala. Maria, nice to have you. Alfredo, always. Sandra, nice to have you. And Easy, welcome everyone. So any questions about the practice? Did you feel, how did you like your reverse triangle? Did you do it? Was it successful? Did you feel like you actually found the twist within there without too much trouble?
It's finally starting to make sense to me. I think when I was trying to do it before, I didn't realize how close it was to pyramid.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So
Yeah, it really is just pyramid pose. Very nice and firm with the spine long and erect and a twist at it. That's all it is. Yeah.
and I had a question about the breathing too. Is it supposed to be a really complete inhale and exhale each time?
It's just whatever it is for you right now. Like it doesn't have to be a yogic breath. It can be just a chest breath. Um, it it's controlled, right? So I kind of have to if I don't force it a little bit in both of those directions, I don't fit into the count. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
what we're doing is yam is controlling, restraining. So I'm trying to have only a certain amount of inhale, a certain amount of exhale. But rather than having a little baby inhale, I'd rather have it a little bit more forced. And rather than having a little baby exhale that I don't feel like I got everything out, a little bit more forced. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, there are all kinds of practices, and we really want to do what suits us and what's best for us, and, you know, our time of day and, you know, everything. You're welcome, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Izzy. Thank you, Maria. You know, that it's the time of day and it's like whether or not the practice agrees with you, if the practice is too heating or too cooling. So we want to take those things into account. But generally, this practice, if holding it like a baby, like I said, if you're not just gripping the breath, then if it's more like a pause for a moment, then it's usually good for everyone, right? And it gives that little bit of control. Um, I hope that people didn't feel, and I wanted everybody after they did it to have that out. Like if you're feeling a little bit more nervous or if it got you a little anxious, to just stop and not do the next round, right? And because we really want to stay calm and tranquil. I mean, that's our whole reason behind doing this is to have peace of mind, right? Peace is our ultimate goal. So we don't want to do anything that really gets us nervous. The purpose is quiet, Stephen. When the breath is quiet, the mind is quiet. And so my purpose is to get the mind quiet, to have the mind just pause, you know, and not be anxious or not worry about the inhale, not worry about the exhale, just that gentle pause. That's kind of why I mentioned that, you know, we want to look at the space between the inhale and the exhale. Those pauses often are where we really find that peace of mind, you know, when we're breathing anxiously and we're just, you know, without even realizing it, you know, and our breath is high in the chest up here, like, and you can see people's necks, you know, you can see their neck moving when they're breathing. We really want to avoid that. That's bringing us into what we call a sympathetic reaction, which is our sympathetic fight, flight, freeze. And we don't want to be in that. You know, we really want to be in a calm state of mind. And you know, our asana is to release things out of our muscles that have been, you know, stored there. I mean, all of our experiences, all of our life experiences this time around, and probably in the past, our samskaras, are just embedded in our muscle tissue, our cartilage, our bone. They're all in there. And so the asana helps to release that. The asana helps to move that energy. Any blockages, it helps to clear them and let the energy flow through. And then the pranayama helps to quieten the mind. It really helps to just bring the mind into that state for meditation. I hope that by the time you started your meditation today, it felt pretty easy. Because, you know, sometimes people say, we're going to meditate. And you're like, oh, no. My mind is like, this is not a good time for me to meditate. But I hope that today, that breath practice left you just, I'm ready. Good, Jose. I see Jose shaking his head. Yes, and Nancy with her thumbs up. Yeah. Great. I'm glad, Nance. Yeah. 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 I love that practice. But I used to do it with too much force, and kind of like, I don't know how to say it, you know, it's too much force. And so now I just like inhale, pause, exhale, pause. And I like to think of pause rather than hold, you know. Yeah. Good, good. So any questions about anything this morning? I'm right here for you.
I have one, Ginger.
Yeah, Jose.
What is the difference between breath work and meditation?
So with breath work, we're actually trying to work with the breath itself as kind of the pranic energy of the body, really trying to change the energy of the body, remove any blockages and prepare the body for meditation, so to speak. In meditation, our breath is soft and shallow and almost non-existent. When you go into a full meditative samadhi, which is the highest of consciousness, of the joining, the yoking of consciousness with our little consciousness with the big consciousness, the breath stops. It just pauses. And so when we get used to those pauses, we get a little bit more used with breath. We get a little bit more used to it being able to happen without control of the breath, just being willing to know that if that breath pauses, we're okay. You know, and during that pause, we're fine. And so that can allow that sort of complete meditative state to last a little bit longer if there's no fear there around the breath being paused. Does that make sense, Jose?
Yes, thank you.
Good. Yeah, it was crazy yesterday. I'm so glad I wasn't in the DC area. It was so horrible. And I can just hope that everybody starts behaving and we get Kamala and Joe in there and we take a turn, because it's really scary. And, you know, as yogis, the most we can do is set an example. That's all we can really do, is just set an example of peace and love. Just set an example. And yeah. Yeah, my mic helps, huh? It's only 9 months. It took a 9-month pregnancy for the mic to get here. You didn't come before, Stephen. You can go onto my YouTube channel and catch up any practices. I've got, you know, probably 50 or 60 videos on there of the practices since COVID started. And most of them are me from the back of the room yelling at the computer because I didn't have a mic. And I finally got it imported down here and paid my taxes on it and got it done. So yeah. Okay, everyone. It's so nice to hang out with you. I really appreciate you. good Lord willing, I'll see you on Tuesday. Stephen, please come back. It was wonderful to have you in class. And it was great to meet you last night at the open house for Mount Madonna. Everybody else, Tuesday, remember, it's an hour later for us here in Guatemala. So, Anita, it's later for you too. So everybody gets an hour's more sleep or rest or whatever on Tuesdays than Thursdays. But thank you for getting up early and joining me. I really appreciate it. Okay, everyone. Much love. Have a great weekend. Ciao.